So courses have stopped working. Selling memberships have stopped working. Blogging has stopped working. Everybody's talking about the stuff that's dead. SEO is dead. Everything's dead. This is not going to be that kind of negative video. However, I was kind of looking through some of the stuff on YouTube lately, and there's some people spilling the tea, telling the truth about dead courses, but those have never worked because they've always been based on selling a course that sells courses on how to make money online. And so it's a self-fulfilling sort of dwindling market. Anyway, so I've been thinking about this for about 2-3 years on and off, but the last year in 2025 specifically, because right about the end of 2024, the beginning of 2025, there's something called an alligator graph that happened for all of my content creator clients. And it is affecting SEO. It's affecting how they work on SEO, the amount of money they make, the sponsorships they get, the numbers they can put on their media profiles so that people will hire them. What is a person to do? Why did it fail? Did it really fail? Or do we need to get back to the basics? The basics have always served me well. So that was my first thing to research. What if we're doing it wrong? Like, marketing has always been getting the right product in front of the right people at the right time. And it's interesting. I'm going to talk about this. What broke is that know, like, trust doesn't work anymore. It used to be pretty simple. Get in front of people, become familiar. The more familiar you are, the more people have this cognitive ability to trust you, even if they don't know anything about you. So that's why so many ads all over social media, because they just want you to see their logo, to see their company X number of times, and then the stats say that you'll click something. Okay, know, like, and trust. So it was basically get people to know you, to recognize you, and then they're gonna be interested. So there's a little bit of like let's go have a look. Let's see what they're doing. Maybe, is it really that big of a deal? Like, is it really the deal that they're saying? And so know, like, and then trust. If they can get some testimonials in front of you, if they can show you how much money they're making and they can show you graphs, stats, that is convincing. And then once you have their attention, they trust you, and then they'll convert. Down the road, maybe, who knows? But that's always been the line. And so why is this not working? And do we need to fix just the no? Because the no is clearly broken. You used to be able to write a blog and then people would come and find you because you just optimize it properly. I taught SEO. I've done SEO. I've seen blogs rise to the top of Google. I've had blogs go to the top of Google, and it means a ton of traffic. Like, if you could get 3 to 5% to convert, that was awesome. Usually a cold audience was 1%, but this is like 2018. That worked. Real SEO optimization that took effort and work and a lot of content, and then networking, and then getting a lot of links coming in from quality. Like, so SEO worked more and more and more, became more and more important. But then social media came on the scene, and then people had to have videos. That was next, instead of just pictures on Instagram. But it's always, no matter what the medium, whether it was your blog, social media, videos, new social media, it was always get attention. If you can get attention, then you can do your thing. They can get to know you. And this is assuming you have a great product or a great personality or something, or have a great community so that people can come and get to know you. Once they know you, they'll convert. So is that the only piece that's broken? The know part of the know, like, trust. But if you can't get people to see that you exist, that's a pretty big thing to be broken. So then I was trying to figure out, how do you fix this if that's the thing that's broken? And then I've been reading articles. Everybody talks about their own special thing. I just listened to a video by Jessica Stansberry talking about how, not Marie Folio, Amy Porterfield, and the Instagram lady. Anyway, there's Pinterest ladies there. But those people sold courses to thousands and thousands of people and have helped people start their own online businesses. The problem is that it doesn't work anymore. Anyway, the same tactics used there, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you're selling, even if it is how to make money online, you've got to get a hold of people first. They've got to know that you exist. The first step, know, like, trust. So even if you nail the product, you have the world's best widget or advice, and you even have perfect conversion, like you have optimized everything, you've A/B tested everything. It is just the perfect conversion with all of the proof and guarantees and the right verb tense so that everybody feels involved and safe and comfortable, and you convert perfectly into your product, your widget, your advice. If they don't know you exist, how is it going to work? It's something's broken. And most of the advice out there is how to get more page views. At the beginning of 2025, my focus was on helping people rely less on page views. And to be honest, that's been a focus for a long time, probably since, well, way at the beginning, at the end of the 2000s, I think. I can't remember. Facebook used to send a ton of traffic to bloggers. It stopped. And then everybody thought, whoa, because people had built their entire business on Facebook. And they were selling things and they had communities, they had all kinds of stuff. Facebook decided to switch it so that for business pages, you had to pay. Everybody got scared. It changed everything. Everybody started having their own properties with their own email list, which is always a great idea. Owning the stuff that so somebody else can't shut it down is a good idea. Then after that, the other shift was in SEO. All the bloggers used to have these huge conferences where bloggers would get together and teach each other tricks about how to get traffic. And then Pinterest came on the scene. That changed things. Now people had to divide their time between making content and social media. But you could do it. You might need to hire a team. You had to treat it more like a business. Oh, that's where I was going. And you had to diversify. You have to diversify your income. You don't want it to rely on one thing. That's what happened. And the same advice about last year. I started really focusing on teaching people how to diversify their income using the audience they already had. And I wouldn't recommend anybody start content creating right now. That would be a totally silly endeavor. Unless you have an audience somewhere else on social media or in real life that you can tell them, like that you have a website now. Creating content is not a marketing activity. It might be a great activity. It might help a lot of people. You send people there and they're going to see it and it might help them. That's great. It is not a marketing activity. It doesn't help people find you anymore. So we need to revisit how to use content. But what do I do with most of my clients? 90%, 85% of them are content creators full-time. What do they do? So I want to show you something. I discovered something called this is kind of funny. I'm self-taught when it comes to business. So this is why this was new to me. The distribution chains, because I don't have I sell online services. I'm a service provider. I'm not a widget provider. Or products. So there's this thing called a distribution chain. And it basically says that a supplier makes your thing, right? They're called suppliers. You have your suppliers, then you have distribution, and then you have the consumer, right? So you take a product from the supplier, it goes through a trucking company, it gets to the store, and you buy it. The manufacturer's removed from the consumer. And the person controlling, if the consumers get it, is largely distribution. So distribution in that example would have been the truck, but also the retail stores. So you want to get it in all the retail stores and you want it to be close to the people who want to buy your product, all those kinds of things. So when it comes to the online world, the suppliers are the creators. The distribution changed. It used to be SEO, so people could go and find you. And so there was no distribution channel in the middle. What changed when social media came on board, and even more so with AI, is that it changed to social media. And so now the only way people to find you, they would find you on social media and still go to you. With AI has taken all of that information, aggregated it, and delivered it to your consumers, but they've cut the creator off from the distribution channel. So people aren't anymore going to the distribution and clicking back to you, which we know, right? We know that they're getting the answers on Google instead of going back to your website. And that cut off. So creators, even if you amalgamated and had the biggest, you were, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, New York Times, you could be the biggest media publishing company in the world. It wouldn't matter if your distribution's cut. Got it? So this is what went wrong. So how do you fix that? You've got to get creators directly to their consumers without the middleman, because the middleman is always going to aggregate, which is where this aggregation theory comes in. And whoever controls the aggregation controls the money. It controls where the money goes, because if they stop distributing, then these guys stop getting money. Or if you cut them off so that you just steal their stuff, which I don't really think is stealing, but anyway, if you take their creator stuff and then you don't send anyone back to them, you're controlling the money. And so they have this huge unfair advantage. They have the middle ground, the media companies, and there's only a few of those social media companies that do this. Now AI and a lot of other things are starting to aggregate all this information, this bulk of the internet. And this is why a lot of creators are kind of stuck. So what do we do about it? Here's the thing. Oh, there's so much to talk about. Okay. Know, like, trust, supply, distribution, consumer. Okay, keep those in mind. Okay, so in order to know how to fix this problem, we have to know how it breaks down with the know, like, and trust thing so that we can fix it. Before, we were in the attention economy, they called it. So if you could get attention, you could convert. And if you could scale or go viral, then that would equal more money. Now, people's attention, even if you do get their attention, they're cognitively overloaded from scrolling. Like, even if you get their attention when they're doom scrolling, they're not going to do anything. Like, the algorithms won't show them stuff that makes them click off, but also, even if they do see it, they're not going to do anything, because cognitively, we don't have the capacity to care anymore. So the way to compete on that is trust. Okay. To get attention, you have to be at the right time with something that actually matters to the person. It cannot be based on an algorithm, because algorithms will not serve your products when you want them to be served to the right people. Their whole existence is to keep people on the app. So in the now trust economy, you have to monetize outcomes. Okay, so people aren't going to buy information anymore. We can just get it from AI. But what we can't get are outcomes. Second, it doesn't give us access to those coaches and people. And we have to somehow monetize the access to the stuff that you're creating, or to you yourself. And then the third one is risk reduction. So the other reason that the attention economy doesn't work is that when we see stuff, not only are we zoned out, or not, like, there's no space to contemplate stuff. We're not reading because it's super interesting. We're on an algorithm doom scrolling. But even if we do see you, we don't trust you. In the 60s, you drove by a big highway and you saw a billboard, you would trust it because, like, a big company had to put that up there. You know, there'd be big splash boards of, like, sexy people smoking, and everybody would go buy cigarettes. Now, I see content constantly. I see ads when I'm just wanting to relax and watch a video, and I tune them out. I go get a snack. I do whatever. We are now guarding our attention. People, I don't even answer my phone. Like, even my phone will even tell me if it's a spam call. So I don't even have to answer it. Like, we guard our attention and our trust now because we're so scammed. AI is everywhere. It's taking over. I don't want to see AI. And I don't want to see it. We guard what we're watching. So you have to get that know, like, and trust. That still sort of applies. But they have to know you when they're looking. It's no longer you going out and flashing, like, getting an ad in front of people's faces. That doesn't work anymore. You have to be in the right spot when people are looking and actually thinking. The like and the trust is what really comes in. If you want somebody to consider your product and they don't know you, there has to be trust. So it's almost flipped. You have to have trust before somebody will even consider going to your website. And so this depends on where they find you. And AI is where that also comes into play. If people find you referenced in AI, they will likely click your site. Not because they trust AI, but because, well, I guess they sort of trust AI. Not that they should, but like, I've clicked through a lot of stuff just to see if AI is telling me the truth. Curiosity, maybe. But the rest of it, you need to be where people are talking when they're actually interacting with something. They're not scrolling. They're not on a platform. They're actually looking for something. And so those would be Reddit threads, discussion boards, groups where people talk about, like, a common subject and people are honestly asking questions and having interactions with each other. You need to find those, and you need to be helpful so that you're trusted. I have lots of examples of this working for me too, just helping people on forums about their website makes me more reliable than even being found in Google nowadays, which is weird, but it's true. And video helps with that a lot too. So video, if you can be authentic on video. If you feel like you look fake, you probably do. So don't do that, because trust and authenticity are the most important things right now. And it's almost like you have to get that trust first. Then they will feel you out and see if you have something that might be interesting to them. But to convert, then you have to have the right product. So it's almost backwards. You have to have the right product that they were looking for originally when they found you in a trustworthy place, and then they will look to see if you have the product that might be what they're looking for. So that changes, it puts content creation on its head. And I think if we take this framework of moving to a trust economy and we try to get trust first, not audience, not eyeballs. This isn't about eyeballs anymore. It can't be, because there's just too much AI crap out there in content, and algorithms are working against you. We all kind of know this, but yet I haven't heard a whole lot on what the alternative is. And so what do? Like, unless you're closing down your shop or stopping writing, if writing is your passion, you're going to have to figure out a way to do the marketing. So I would recommend, and what I try to do myself, is budget so many hours a week that I'm going to spend in marketing my services. And that is, then you experiment with how you market the best. How do you gain attention when people are looking for it? So for me, it's always answering questions in forums, but also Reddit threads. That was that platform, Substack is the one that has tried to aggregate creators and see if they can put a paywall in there and monetize that. But then Substack is the platform, and it is the one controlling the content. So in time, I think it will just be like any other platform, an algorithm. It just makes sense, because that's what businesses do. They're there to make money. So I don't know. Anyway, trust economy. So you have to do the trust economy, and you have to find things. You have to also use the audience that you have, and you monetize it. Oh, in layers. Okay, this is another really interesting piece. I should probably go through this in a different time because this is a long video, but you can monetize. I'll just give you the 4 layers. I haven't really fleshed this out a lot, but there's 4 layers in the trust economy that you can monetize with, and you can do some research on these yourself. You can monetize, and your revenue will depend on how specific the product is or service, your credibility, your specificity, the relevance to who you're talking to, and the continuity. And by continuity, I don't mean doing it over and over and over again, like making all the images on Instagram. I don't mean that. And I don't mean like posting all the time. I mean, continuity is kind of reputation. Like, you've been doing it for this many years. You know what you're talking about. You've never wavered. People can trust that, like you have a reputation, you have some authority, and you've built it up over time. That is a really good thing, and you can monetize those 4 things. You can layer attention, monetization. Now, this is not going to work that well, but you can still do things like opinion pieces, advice, especially if you're selling consultation services. But the stuff that you put out online has to be unique and something that AI can't produce, which is stories, your experience, your opinions, edge takes on stuff. I'm hoping that this video is not something that AI could produce, given my history with the creator economy. So anyway, attention monetization, that's the lowest one. Start there because you already have all that content. Then add to that access monetization. So people will pay to have access to you. And also they'll pay to have that access without ads. So I know there's some creators, clients of mine, that we've added a little shop and they can pay $6 or $7 a month, and we remove the ads for anybody that's logged in and has paid that monthly fee. That's one way to monetize your access. You could have private communities, you could sell office hours, you could have small group calls, you could have memberships, paid newsletters. That is monetizing your access to you. And that's something that's unique. And this is also why small memberships nowadays that don't charge a lot will far surpass those big launches. We just don't trust launches. So that was the attention, the content that you have. You can actually, it can and probably is being shown on Google and AI in some different places. So you monetize that. You can then monetize access to you through paid newsletters, memberships, private communities, office hours, small groups. Layer 3 is interpretation. And so this is selling things like audits, reviews, advice, and done with you programs, which is new. I've heard of these VIP days, and it's like you hire me for like 6 hours. We get together on a call, all 6 hours, and we work together. And people are charging a lot for this, of course. I would have to charge a lot because that means I can't do anything else for those 6 hours, and also for time on either side to prep or whatever. So anyway, that's interpreting stuff. And so it is going to earn you a lot more money, but it also requires more trust. So you could use that if you have an existing audience. I think for a lot of my creators, this is exactly what you should be monetizing, is interpreting. People will pay to get your opinions on how stuff is working. Mostly that's what you pay me for, is which plugin should you use, or is SEO worth buying anymore? Like, I get those questions from you guys, and you're looking for my interpretation, not for what AI will say, because that's just the general noise out there. Okay, that was your content, or basically the attention. So do monetize the attention, even though it's not going to grow, you know. Monetize the attention, the access to you through memberships, communities, office hours, and then interpretation. Monetize interpretation, which would be advice, audits, reviews, that kind of thing. And I know some of my fashion creators do that with like fashion consultations online through Zoom. So it's still online and the audience can be big. And then the fourth layer that you can monetize is for an outcome. So this is where you can, it's a service basically, or a retainer, or that you're doing something, or you're maintaining something, or you're providing a system, like you're providing wardrobes for 4 times a year or 5 times a year or something for a specific client. You are doing a nutrition consult, or even just taking like, okay, so recipe, you have a form on your website. They fill in how many people are in their family, what they like, what they don't like, dietary preferences. You take that and create a menu plan for them, just for their family. I bet people would pay a lot for that, because it saves them having to do the work, because you have those recipes and they just have to click the number of servings or whatever, but they also have to find out something that everybody likes. Then they have to figure out if they can substitute the broccoli because one of the kids doesn't like broccoli, and on and on and on, right? If you did that for them, I bet people will pay for time saved, risk reduced, results delivered, and they'll also pay a service for if you help them not look silly, if you preserve their reputation. That's a lot of what my maintenance stuff does, is you guys rely on your websites, so we take care of them so that they don't get hacked and they don't send people to nefarious websites with like little links in there everywhere, and they don't look really bad and half die and all those things. So that's a maintenance service that you provide, and it's done for you. And so that as the premium charge, I'd charge more for that, of course, than I would for an ebook or something like that, which I don't charge for. But anyway, you could. Okay, attention, monetize access to who you are, monetize interpretation, and monetize outcomes. 4, not 5. Okay. I think we can dig into those 4 and talk about like how that works and how to do it on your website. But for sure, keep owning your distribution channels. Don't rely entirely on algorithms. Start with trust for your audience. Keep your audience happy. Be specific, be opinionated, tell stories. Do not follow a template on recipe blogs. They're so annoying that they're in memes now. And yeah, do that. Be opinionated, have fun, be yourself, be authentic, because trust is what's going to earn you with an audience. And trust is sorely lacking nowadays online because there's just too much content. There's too much noise. There's too much fake content. I really hope this helps. Take care.